And we're going to get into the video in a second here. Just trying to get it loaded up. Give me a second. Say hi. Hi, girl. Here, Mike Johnson is going to explain.
Administration, we saw
aliens driving without
individuals
licenses.
that were here, that were illegal aliens in our country, get driver's licenses
I've
in
experienced
sanctuary
it.
states.
That is 100%
Go forward
true.
and get commercial driver's licenses as well, and enter our roadways. And recently, we've seen a trend of us recognizing the crashes and the lives that they are perpetuating and happening on our roads across this country. In fact, I'm standing here today with many people who can speak to what they are seeing with these CDLs and these drivers with these illegal criminals and aliens that are in our country, and the danger that they present each and every day to the families that live in the United States. As you all know, I'm Christine Ohm. I'm the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, and we do have some special guests with us. We have a unique partnership here in the state of Indiana with the governor, so I want to thank being with us today, and we'll speak to how his law enforcement agencies are working with the Department of Homeland Security and with our ICE officers to bring safety to our roadways again. I also am thankful that he has his superintendent here, Anthony Scott, and thank him for his leadership in providing some of the efforts.
I gotta check the video feed. Give me a second. I just posted it. I got a couple posted. I made a new category, so I'm trying to group all the Damon Silo videos together, so they're all in one spot. If you go to my playlist, I have a whole bunch of different categories in my playlist that consist of all videos under like a description of what that says, like immigration, or fireworks, or cars, or etc. There's no etc. category, but I'm just explaining it. We'll get back to the video in a second. Hang on. I'm trying to... Better, right? Whatever. Let's go with it. Good. Oh, I gotta get this screen Alright, picking up where we left off.
Here, but we do see Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem now taking to the podium. Let's head to that now.
That's not where we left off. Yeah, that's
Our
right.
roadways safe again. For so many years, we're under in sanctuary states. Go forward and get commercial driver's licenses as well and enter our roadways. And recently, we've seen a trend of us recognizing the crashes and the lives that they are perpetuating and happening on the roads across this country. In fact, I'm standing here today with many people who can speak to what they're seeing with these CDLs and these drivers with these illegal criminals and
like that one that rear-ended that car and killed the person in California.
Department of Homeland Security, and we do have some special guests with us. We have a unique partnership.
That was
with
a
the state of
semi-truck,
Indiana.
though.
So I want to thank Governor Braun for being with us today, and we'll speak to how his law enforcement agencies are working with the Department of Homeland Security and with our ICE officers to bring safety to our roadways again. I also am thankful that he has
That's
this right
good.
here, Anthony Funk.
Get them aliens away from our roads and away from our cars.
The efforts that we're putting forward, and then Deputy Director Matt Sheehan will share with you some insight on what more people could do to ensure that our laws are followed in this country. Now, many of these individuals that come into our country illegally may commit criminal acts as well beyond that, but then go to a state and get licensed,
Yep.
receive a commercial driver's license. Many times are challenged in how they put that forward and how they do their work every day. We've seen over the years that they don't speak English, they can't read road signs, that when they have enforcement activities with law enforcement officers, that they can't communicate with them, and it presents a danger many times over. In fact, putting these foreigners in tractor trailers like the ones you see behind me becomes extremely dangerous. I have driven semis over
Even if
many,
you don't
many
drive,
years
it puts
and
you in
18-wheelers
danger. What if
and
they crash
understand
into the
they're
sidewalk?
difficult to stop,
What if they,
maneuver,
what
you
if
have
it's
to
your
have a
turn to
skill
cross
set,
the
but
street,
also
and then they
communication
hit
with
you as
those
you're
around
crossing
you.
the street?
And
if
certainly
you don't
in your
walk, if you
training,
take
it's
Uber, what
important
if
to
they
make
kill
sure
you
you're
in the
operating
Uber
it
ride?
safely. Putting them behind the wheel of these tractor
It's very
trailers weighing
dangerous.
tens of thousands of pounds loaded with explosive fuel down the highway endangers every single citizen that is on our roads. Today, these individuals
Even if you're
speak
not, a
about
semi-truck
some
can
of
come
those
crashing
incidences
through
that
your
we've
living
seen,
room,
but
even if
also
you don't
what we're
leave.
cleaning up this
It still
activity
puts
in
you
those
in danger.
dangers
You can
every
have a
single day.
semi-truck come
Now,
crashing
through our
through your bedroom
287G
or crashing
partnership
through
that
your
we have
living
with the
room.
state of Indiana,
I've seen
we have
semi-trucks
run an
crash into
operation
buildings
recently
before.
which has allowed to hundreds of arrests that have
Houses,
brought
in
people in
fact.
that are breaking our laws.
I haven't
Through
seen,
that
I think I've seen
partnership,
one in person.
223 illegal aliens have been arrested and taken off of our roads. Of those, 146 of them were drivers. That includes 46 semi-truck drivers and another 82 of them that were either box trucks, buses, moving vans, vehicles that. The CDLs that were issued to those individuals were issued from over a dozen different states. Many of those individuals could have been licensed in a state somewhere and received their CDL.
California, we're looking in June.
These individuals have come from sanctuary states such as California and Illinois.
Oh, I knew it. I didn't know Illinois. I knew California.
Driving on our streets illegally, on our highways, you are endangering our citizens, and your days are numbered.
Good.
I want to thank Secretary Sheehan
Support them all.
and the Department of Transportation for this one too. You've seen them focus on the effort to get these individuals off of our streets, and thank you for doing that and implementing new policies and regulations that will keep our citizens safe. Many families across this country without pain, and
I agree.
it's because of these illegal drivers. Just earlier this month here in Indiana, we saw an illegal alien from Serbia and Montenegro was operating his semi-truck without a valid commercial license. He swerved into oncoming traffic and killed Jeffrey Everly.
Oh,
In
my.
August, Indian illegal alien killed 3 people in a reckless driving highway incident in Florida. And I think most of you remember the news coverage from that with the devastating impacts of that loss. That CDL had been issued in California by Governor Gavin Newsom.
I couldn't
Just
tell.
last
I
week,
already
another
knew that.
illegal alien killed 3 Americans on a highway in California. He was intoxicated behind the wheel of his truck. Every single time one of these individuals gets behind the truck, on the wheel of a truck, they are in front of a deadly weapon that can kill other Americans as well.
And my
Behind
dog.
me, you will see 4 different placards of individuals that we're talking about today specifically. These individuals
Patricia,
are
we
some
don't
of the
need
worst
illegal
of the
aliens
worst that we've been
driving.
able to
Hey, Patricia.
arrest under Operation Midway Blitz. The first one I'll talk about is from
Yeah,
Mexico.
midway
This individual
clips.
was
Thumbs up.
convicted of felony cruelty towards a child. He was also previously found to have possessing a
Good.
fraudulent
Pedophile.
driver's license as well, and guilty of that.
That
and
pedophile the fuck
convicted.
out of our
The
country.
next one is a criminal alien from Mexico.
Who would not want a
who was convicted
pedophile
of vehicle
deported?
theft and apprehended for
The
possession
idiots
of a
outside of
controlled
ICE, they're
substance.
fucking
The third
pedophiles.
individual that you'll see in front of you today is a criminal illegal alien from Nicaragua.
I'm talking about
This
Broadview.
individual was charged
Obviously,
with a
there's no
DUI,
pedophile
then
outside
assault
of
with a deadly
Portland.
weapon, possessing narcotics that are for sale, and transporting drugs. He also was convicted for disorderly conduct and prostitution. Another illegal alien from
In other words, he was a pimp.
which is the fourth individual I'll talk about today, has an active criminal arrest warrant for theft out of Texas. During these targeted operations that we've conducted in Indiana, we've also arrested several other illegal aliens with wide-ranging criminal histories. 6 of those individuals were convicted of assault, drugs, selling drugs, prostitution, and operating while intoxicated. 5 of those individuals were arrested for drugs, theft, and burglary, and 5 others were arrested for battery, child abuse, domestic
Silo.
battery, and driving while intoxicated, and fraud. You can see from the work that these partnerships build on that we work with other states such as Indiana and Governor Braun and his team, that many dangerous criminal illegal aliens are taken off of our streets, that our laws are upheld, and that Americans are protected because of the operations and the work that's being done.
Bit of the back pillar left.
ICE and CP and their state posters have
I don't know where it's at right now. I can't find it. Oh, there it is.
illegal aliens, including rapists.
I really should go get videos during the day instead of at pitch black night.
And listen, we don't want any of these individuals.
Oh well, but I didn't. I got a few during the day.
We especially don't want them behind the wheel of an 18-wheeler, but they can't speak our language.
Yeah, no,
don't
they
understand
shouldn't be.
our laws, they can't follow roadway signs, and they can't interact with law enforcement or our citizens. It's dangerous, and it's not going to happen under the Trump administration like it did under the Biden administration. Thousands and thousands of Americans
Private cars,
protected
you can
because of the
beside
work that's
somebody.
being done with states such as this. United States Citizenship and Immigration Services is also working to fix some of the safety issues that we've been seeing across our country. They just ended a policy that allowed illegal aliens work permits that automatically renewed those work permits without any additional vetting. That will help us get some of these CDLs out of the hands of individuals who may be driving these trucks right here today. The illegal alien that was charged with throwing an anti-Semitic Molotov cocktail earlier this year in Boulder, Colorado, got a work permit. He got it renewed under the former policy, and he got it with an expired visa. This policy is now changed because of the good work of USCIS. People will be re-vetted, be reapproved in order to get that work permit that could potentially be used to garner a CDL and get on the street. Law-abiding Americans should be able to use the roads without being scared for their safety. They shouldn't have to worry about themselves or their children or what they're doing when they're going to church, going to work, or going to activities every single day. No father should have to fear being rear-ended by a semi-truck at full speed while he's simply on his way to work to provide for his family. No mother should have to be afraid of an illegal alien running into her with her children when she's got little kids in the back seat in her car seats. I'm a mother and I'm a grandmother, and I can't imagine what would happen or how I would feel if one of my children or grandchildren were hurt by someone who was never supposed to be in our country in the first place, much less behind a truck like this, and given permission from an irresponsible, reckless governor like Gavin Newsom,
And they took a job from an American on top of
or
that.
anyone else in this country
I
that
could've been
chooses
getting
to
paid better
ignore our
to do it.
laws and put illegal criminals ahead of our American citizens. With
we
state
shouldn't do
partners
that
like
no
Governor
more.
Braun
We should have never
and like the
done
state
that
of
in the first
Indiana,
place.
people will be safer. People will be protected, and our laws will matter. That's what's special about this country. It's what's amazing about President Trump and what he's doing to make our streets safer. And I'm so grateful for all of his work and the ability to protect our law enforcement officers as they go out and do their work every day protecting American citizens. And with that, I will turn it over to Governor Braun to make some statements for all.
Avoid these foods like the plague. Almond milk or whole milk?
Neither. We drink oat milk. It's less
Read
inflammatory
some of
than
these
other
comments
milks.
real quick in the commercial. We'll read these comments real quick. Hit in LOL. Trump, thumbs up. Oh, you gave flicking the finger off. Well, you're pretty bitter. Why do you say that? Well, why are you saying that? At hit in LOL. We build America. Who builds America? Who are you talking? Who is this we you speak of? Who is this we? We? Are you saying me and you? When you say we, who is the we that you are referring to? We is in me and you. We is in who? Can you please comment who you mean? What the hell you're talking about by we? Think us immigrants, we work harder than you Americans. I never said y'all didn't. But the ones that are here illegally working even harder fucking than the ones that are here illegally. And we're talking about illegals and legals. Two totally different groups of immigrants. I'm not talking about the immigrants that came here legally. I'm talking about the immigrants who came here during Joe Biden's fucking house all those motherfuckers at the downtown fucking Des Plaines and Polk fucking CTA line, but you had our own homeless Americans right down the block from there living in tents and damn near fucking half a foot of snow, 2 feet of snow, fucking 32 or colder degrees out, but they couldn't go on them fucking Warren buses, but these invaders could? Like, that's crazy. I got video of it. Go on my older videos from a year ago. You'll see videos of fucking me going up. There's only like 1 or 2 videos where I went in that little homeless tent, and they put a fence around it, but they didn't go away. All they did was just move a couple blocks down. The same homeless encampment that was right there, right down the block from those immigrants, fucking they just moved them a few blocks down. They couldn't say, hey, we're going to put you guys up in that building on Elston Avenue. They're going to say, you know, hey, we paid thousands of dollars for people not even from this country to get housed, but you know, you American citizens living in the tents, whatever your reasons, you're alcoholics, bad times, you got injuries, fucking you're on drugs, whatever. If we can house the people that are not in this country, that are not supposed to be here, we should be able to house every single other American like them motherfuckers in them tents. They were up here at 9094 in Roosevelt, and Des Plaines and Polk was like right off the side from it. Why can we house those people, but we can't house our own? That's why they need to go.
Try out my new service. She found the same coverage for $95. Saved 30% after calling the
citizens. And with that, I will turn it over to Governor Braun to make some statements for all of you.
Thank you, Secretary. Now, you know, it's ironic that after serving 6 years in the U.S. Senate, grappling with all these issues, coming back as governor of the crossroads of America, and I want to thank
you guys hear it?
You, the administration.
I can't turn it
we're
too
looking
loud.
to Indiana on something that probably is impacted more by this than any other state. I mean, when many of the major interstates come through your state, you probably have more of them per square mile, you're going to end up with more issues disproportionately. Irony of and CDLs take a lot of effort to get them, and when they're handed out, like places like California and others have, it puts everyone in peril. The other irony to the whole discussion, we're doing it right in here, is talking about redistricting. The places that have housed illegal immigrants as being sanctuary states, sanctuary cities, it makes representation disproportionately in their favor. And then when you're doing stuff like this on top of it, it's a double whammy. So I am thankful that we got an administration that took the same template that the last administration had, and instead of inviting people at their own peril into this country, creating the issue.
Imagine a person that can't even speak a word of English. Fucking, what's this guy got his first on? Imagine, look how big this 18-wheeler is. Imagine somebody that can't speak English, don't know what any of the fucking street signs say or mean other than red, stop, yellow, slow down, green, go. And maybe some ones that don't got words on it. And you can just know by looking at it, kind of common sense, you can figure it out. But if they're a stupid immigrant, common sense. Imagine that, driving them, one of them big ass deadly trucks. That's scary. And if you're here, I want to go up there and talk to them motherfuckers at Broadview and be like, look, man, what if you had something like I just explained, driving that big ass fucking heavy fucking 10,000 pound or more truck. I don't know how heavy they are, but I'm sure that truck is close to 10,000, considering, you know, a Dodge Charger weighs about 5,000. So that might be more than that. Might be like 15 to 20,000. But Dodge Charger weighs about 5,000 pounds. Fucking that big ass fucking if SRT weighs about 1,000 pounds, that big ass semi truck's probably like 20,000 pounds, maybe more. I'm sure I can look it up, but I ain't doing that right now. We're listening about the government shutdown. We're supposed to be talking about that. It's day 30.
You can see how easy
maybe a little
it
bit of
was to
government
fix
shutdown
it
ain't going to be
in
so
a short
bad.
period of time. This
Less
is going to take a
government is
joint
better,
effort.
right?
You know, every state is a border state when you got to contend with stuff like this. Operation Midway Blitz is working to make our highways safer. You're going to hear from our superintendent in a moment, and we are going to be partners to help make that happen. You heard some of the stats. Since September 17th, 200 illegal aliens arrested. 22 truck drivers without a valid license
That's
here
crazy.
in Indiana.
That's wild.
Most of them with criminal records, including drug possession, assault, and drunk driving.
Drug driving
ICE is working with the Indiana State Police to expand this program by incorporating additional state troopers assigned to the Commercial Vehicle Enforcement Division in our own state. I want to thank all of you for coming in.
They need to stay going
We're
after
going
the
to
illegal
work
aliens.
with DHS.
Keep going after them.
We're going to work with ICE to keep our communities and our highways safe, even though other places are making them the opposite. Thank you. Now you'll hear from our superintendent of state police.
Go after them fucking immigrants.
With today's NBA stars, no
Legally be here, and they could be driving a big ass 20 to maybe even 30,000 pound fucking semi truck like that, or 18 wheeler. That might have been a 16 wheeler. I didn't count them. That was a garbage truck.
Thank you to Secretary Nome, ICE Acting Deputy Director Lyons, for being here today and for their commitment to public safety and to making our communities and roadways safer. I also want to say thank you to Governor Braun for his consistent support of the Indiana State Police, not just regarding this operation, but for supporting all that our troopers and detectives do on a day-to-day basis.
Big ass fucking possibly
I want to say thank you to the
alien truck driver behind me.
Major Johnson, who's in the room today,
and
the Commercial Vehicle Enforcement Division for their dedication to this partnership with ICE.
Ain't that a bitch?
In addition, I have just a few brief comments.
Hey girl.
As you know, over the past several weeks, our Commercial Vehicle Enforcement Division has partnered with federal immigration authorities in an effort to identify dangerous trucking practices on Indiana highways. Trucks come through Indiana hauling everything from produce to hazardous materials to nearly every other type of commercial goods. Millions of pounds of freight moving on our highways every day. For the Indiana State Police, this is not about immigration status alone. It's about public safety. An 80,000-pound truck in untrained hands is a dangerous thing.
Yes, it is.
It's important to note that we are enforcing existing federal and state trucking laws at way stations across our state. For us, this is not new. This is what we do every day. In a normal year, our troopers and officers inspect about 1.5 million commercial vehicles in our urban scale facilities for utilizing mobile inspections. Consistent commercial vehicle enforcement is necessary to protect the motoring public in Indiana, but it is also important to protect the overwhelming majority of lawful truckers and trucking companies who follow the rules and keep our roads safe for every motorist. So Indiana troopers and motor carrier inspectors.
There's that motherfucking building I was talking about, right here.
Commercial motor vehicle laws.
Why can't we put our homeless American citizens in there, but we can house people from fucking other countries in there? under. The building's fucking vacant. That's crazy. They still can't get in there. Even when the building is vacant. I heard it right. I'll get in there one of these days when we got more time.
Secretary Noam, Ron, and State Police Secretary Scott. When ICE launched Operation Midway Blitz in September, we were out to rid the sanctuary status in Chicago. The governor said it best when he said that every state's a border state, and we believe that. You know, we knew the problem existed beyond the city borders of Chicago. ICE protected Chicago when all leadership failed. With our officers arresting 1,800 criminal aliens from Chicago streets, the interstates leading from the city were a key part of this. With the help of our federal partners, we arrested over 3,000 criminal aliens with Operation Midway Blitz. Thanks to our partnership with the Indian State Police, ICE is proud to say we were able to arrest 223 criminal aliens in this roadway operation. You know, us is amazing, and there are way too many times elected officials try to put a wedge between law enforcement. But this is the key of law enforcement working together and being partners. It's unconscionable that illegal aliens have CDLs and driving 18 roads across our nation. Just because some sanctuary cities want to gamble with motorist lives and let these dangerous people on the roads driving dangerous vehicles. On August 12th, an illegal alien driving a semi-truck attempted to make an illegal U-turn in Florida. The minivan behind him couldn't stop in time and crashed into that truck. The state of California issued him a CDL, although he was present illegally in the United States. Then again, on September 22nd, another illegal alien who shouldn't have had a CDL caused a deadly crash in California. And he killed 3 people because he was on the influence of drugs. Of the 223 illegal aliens ICE arrested with the Indiana State Police on these roads, over 140 of those were truck drivers, including 50. That includes over 50 legal aliens that have been issued CDLs. As we've talked about, many of these illegal aliens had significant criminal histories: drug dealing, assault, battery, drug driving, child abuse, rape, domestic violence, fraud, and prostitution. Most of these illegal aliens in this operation received their CDLs in 7 states, including California, Illinois, and New York. This operation is a real-world example of how sanctuary policies negatively impact the whole country. What happens in one state, like the issuance of a CDL to an illegal alien, spills over to all the states, which is exactly what happened in California and in Florida. It is also part of our national security mission with ICE, because millions of illegal aliens that came to the United States under the last administration were unvetted. The problem is we don't know what they're carrying across state lines. Terrorism. Stop at nothing to harm the United States. And it's well within the realm of possibility that some of these trucks and some of these semi-trucks that are traversing our nation's highway could be carrying toxic chemicals, bombs, or God knows what. Our agency was formed on the aftermath of 9/11, the largest terrorist attack in American history. I'm extremely proud of the hardworking men and women of ICE as we led this critical operation in and around Chicago. Again, this operation would not have been successful without a partnership with the Indiana State Police. With that, I'd like to introduce the Deputy Director of ICE, Madison Sheehan.
Good morning, I'm Madison Sheehan, the Deputy Director of ICE. I'd like to thank Secretary Noam and Director Lyons for allowing ICE officers to get out on the street and do their job every single day. Today, we have a historic partnership with the state of Indiana. Thanks to Governor Braun and his superintendent and his entire team at the state, we were able to delegate them 287G authority, which gives immigration authority to state and local law enforcement. In the state of Indiana, we have over 14 agreements with over 200 officers trained in the task force model. Thanks to President Trump, we were able to expand the 287G program to a task force model that allows us to walk beside state and local officers as we conduct arrests in the places that they know that the worst of the worst are. And the state of Indiana understands the risk of having trucks on the highway with people who don't know how to drive them and don't know how to use them. And so being able to go in and partner with the state of Indiana in this historic way, thanks to the One Big Beautiful Bill that was passed, we are now able to then provide reimbursements to the state of Indiana for the work that they've done and the time that they've dedicated to the men and women of ICE to be able to do this every single day. Governor Braun has seen firsthand the significance of being able to walk beside ICE to make sure that we're moving the worst of the worst from his community, to get people off of the streets that should have never been here in the first place. Thanks to Secretary Noem and Director Lyons, the men and women of ICE are able to go out every single day, work beside the state of Indiana to be able to do this. And this is not the first place that we're doing this, and it won't be the last either. We'll continue to work throughout the country to make sure that we are doing our jobs to put the American people first. Governor Braun and Superintendent, I'd like to thank you for defending the homeland, for choosing to put the American people first and the state of Indiana first. With that, I'd like to turn it over to Secretary Noem. Thank you.
Okay, so you're looking for a new credit card, and you know that applying where do you go? Credit Karma. They help you shop for cards, and they show you your approval odds before you apply. Make it simple, y'all. Use Credit Karma.
The government is banning this $39 electric lighter next month, and this is your last shot to get the original high-powered version. There's a new next-gen electric lighter out there, and it's the...
Well, thank you, and thank you to everybody who's here today to focus on this important operation that we're utilizing to make our roadways safer across this country.
Enough about the roadways.
Awareness to this issue really came to the forefront when that accident happened in Florida. And we saw that illegal alien take the lives of 3 individuals who were just out on the road enjoying their family members that day and lost tragically their lives because of someone who didn't understand our laws or didn't have the respect to follow them. It certainly wasn't supposed to be here in the first place. That's when we really started to focus on illegal aliens in this country who have CDLs, who they were granted those CDLs by, the damage the sanctuary states can do when they give driver's licenses and CDLs to individuals who don't understand our language. And we recognized that we needed to do targeted operations across the country like the one that we've done here in Indiana. 223 illegal aliens have been taken off of these roads because of this work that was done under Midway Blitz with the partnership of Governor Braun and his team. We're so grateful for that. But it's not just happening here in Indiana. In fact, in Oklahoma, we've had an operation going the last few days. Over 250 illegal aliens have been arrested there by making sure that we're checking who's driving these trucks and if they should have a CDL in the first place and if they're following the laws in this country. Listen, our job every single day at the Department of Homeland Security is to keep the American people safe, to protect our homeland and to defend our homeland and to enforce our laws. We don't pick and laws apply to. They get applied equally to everyone, and we always put American citizens first because that's what our Constitution guarantees us. We are so grateful that we have a president who understands and respects the law, that lets our law enforcement officers go out every single day and do their jobs. Completely different situation than what we saw under the last administration. Our ICE officers, our CBP officers, our Highway Patrol, our local law enforcement officers are so fatigued. And many times when we're out there on the streets making sure that we're getting these criminals off of our, I would say the White House and I am and our leadership team is thrilled with all the work that ICE and Border Patrol are doing to help clean up our streets. In fact, giving people an opportunity to lead is fantastic. Giving people an opportunity to step up and take up on more responsibilities is a one.
Oh, they're asking questions.
What's that?
So.
It's in the Midway Blitz operation, which includes Indiana, Chicago, Illinois, and that area that field office is covering.
Midway Blitz. It sounds like a football game. Okay. It looks like a football game too if you see some of the videos. Midway Blitz. It's like a fucking Super Bowl.
No, when you talk about people that have left this country using the CBP Home app, those who voluntarily left, those that we have actively detained and deported, that number is over 2 million people since the Trump administration has come into the White House. That is an incredible, record-shattering number of individuals who were here illegally that are now gone. And when you think about the ripple effects of that, the amount of resources that frees up to focus on the American citizens, it's remarkable the good work that President Trump has been able to do. I would say that by the end of this year, those individuals who have been detained or arrested and deported will be over 600 to 650,000, and then we include many more that are still voluntarily going home on their own as well. No, those that are turned away at the border are not recorded in those that are detained and arrested. You know, the Biden administration, was very corrupt in how they recorded their arrest numbers, and every single person that they interacted with at the border, they counted as an arrest, even though they facilitated them into this country. We aren't doing that. We're being honest with the American people and letting them know the facts of who in this country has been detained and who it is that we're removing back to their home countries. Yes. Well, we're pushing sanctuary states to stop issuing driver's licenses to people who are illegal aliens. Many of them are doing it. In fact, we've seen over a dozen different states that actively hand out driver's licenses to individuals who should never get one. As you know, the Department of Homeland Security is implementing the 20-year-old law that requires a real ID, which requires legal status in this country. It requires you to show where you live and who you are. That real ID is implemented in many states across this country, but some of these sanctuary states, such as California, New York, Illinois, are not doing that, and that's allowing those individuals who are here illegally to go get licensed and get a commercial driver's license and then get behind a truck like this that soon becomes a
That's something I disagree with. You shouldn't be forced to get a real ID.
One last question.
Thank you.
That's one thing I will say I like about Blagojevich. Right now in Illinois, the ID is still optional. You're not forced. If you want to go on the airplane and fly, you're going to have to get a real ID. But other than that, you could just get a regular driver's license without having to get a real ID.
Well, we can get that for you. Those are individuals that have been detained that we've interacted with.
But you ain't going to be flying on no plane.
Illegally committed crimes or had final orders of removal issued against them, and then are in the process
but other than
of
that, you can get a real ID.
Countries.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to in Illinois still get a real ID.
That were committing crimes, that have broken our laws and come into this country that shouldn't be here, that because of the good work of our law enforcement now,
if you want to fly,
will be
then you got to
returned
get
back
a real
home to their home countries. And remember, many of these countries are thankful to have them back.
Your own
Their
plane if you got it.
economies
Well, no,
have
in other
changed.
states
They have an ability to provide them with training and jobs and housing, and are welcoming them home. We have great partnerships internationally with dozens and dozens of countries who are helping us to facilitate this movement back home. So we are grateful for that, but we're going to continue to do the work. If you remember, the last administration has brought in 15 to 20 million illegal people into this country and facilitated an invasion over our southern border that we not only stopped when President Trump came into office, but now we're going to remove those individuals out of our country and make sure that we're putting American citizens first. We will not talk about that. We will keep it going, and we will continue to operate, and we'll continue to do this work until there are no longer anybody out on our roads and in our communities that's here illegally. Thank you. I can't hear you.
Let's get back to that government shutdown, though.
There's no American citizens have been arrested or detained.
That's true.
We focus on those that are here illegally. And anything that you would hear or report that would be different than that is simply not true and false reporting. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. Hey, Mom?
Hey everyone, geophysicist Stefan Burns here. We have just observed interstellar object 3I Atlas brightening dramatically over the past few days, leading up to its perihelion, its closest approach to the sun, which it performed yesterday, October 29th, at a very close distance of just 1.36 astronomical units. The sun-Earth distance reference is 1 AU. So it's being hit with a ton of solar radiation at that distance. About 735 watts per square meter. In deep interstellar space, it's estimated to be about 10 to the -7, 10 to the -8 watts per square meter. And during this transit, it also got blasted by a whole bunch of huge coronal mass ejections. Basically, there were a ton of insanely large explosions on the far side of the sun over the past 10 days or so. That is one of the bigger stories here, actually, is about how right now we are in a period of extreme solar activity, one of the biggest in decades. But on the far side of the sun, those solar storms all launched out. A lot of them hit 3I Atlas either directly or with like a side impact. And then it had its perihelion.
That's
Well, we
wild.
observed it brightening dramatically, much more so than with normal comets from our solar system, from the outer edges of our solar system, what we hypothesize as the Oort cloud. There has been a lot that's happening here. We
How
do
can they
have
see
some
3I Atlas get hit by
additional
solar
measurements of
radiation, but
3I
they can't
Atlas
view
as a
it
result of
with the current, like,
CCOR1
with the
and
satellite?
T3 coronagraph views that we have of the sun. This is specialized telescopes that look at the sun so we can see these solar storms and solar wind outflows. They also were able to detect 3I Atlas using advanced stacking techniques and confirm that it is following along its normal trajectory. And in fact, the latest observation was taken yesterday on the 29th, likely from one of the probes that is flying around the solar system, though NASA has not stated which probe has gathered that data. So 3I Atlas has not deviated from its trajectory, but it has brightened dramatically, much more so than normal comets in our solar system would. And we've had all this extreme solar activity on the far side, one of the biggest periods of solar activity in decades, undoubtedly. We're talking big X-class flares, perhaps even double-digit X-class flares, and those sunspots are going to be rotating towards the Earth-facing side of the sun in just 2 to 3 days. They'll be Earth-centered and direct in a little more than a week. And so we could be in for a big period of huge solar activity and geomagnetic storming here on Earth, because while the first coronal mass ejection that was launched off in the period conjunction of 3I Atlas with the Earth, the Earth-Sun 3I Atlas on the 21st, was the biggest, they haven't stopped. In fact, just in the past 48 hours, we've had 2 big coronal mass ejections from those sunspot groups, and they seem to be increasing and multiplying based off of our helioseismic data. So things are heating up. As we forecasted way back in July that this is definitely a possibility, it is happening right now. Perihelion has occurred. 3I Atlas is still very close to sun, but now it's on its way near Jupiter. It's going to fly out of our solar system unless it does something unusual. Of course, I'll keep you up to date on all that. Subscribe to the channel. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. And let's begin by looking at our coronagraph view of the sun, because honestly, the solar activity is the bigger story here. 3I Atlas is very interesting, it's dynamic, it's unusual, but it's not like it's going to impact Earth, wipe us out. It doesn't look like there's going to be an alien invasion, but we could very well have some extreme solar activity that results in power grids going down, communication disruptions, satellites being impacted, burning up in the atmosphere. We live in a modern technological age that is very dependent on technology and power grids and all that working, and well, the sun could cause a reset if it wanted to. Put a big enough solar storm Earth facing, you could get some pretty serious things to unfold as a result of that. So that is the bigger story here. And well, here we have the sun from the 21st all the way up to today, the 30th of October. We're looking at the sun right there, but we also have the C2 and C3 coronagraph view. This is 32 solar radii across, so it gives us quite a wide view of what's happening around the sun. They put a disk over the sun, block it out, very bright, and allows more dim but still bright solar wind emissions and solar storms. You're going to see a big coronal mass ejection the moment I hit play, because that was the first one to occur right as 3I Atlas came in towards the Superior conjunction as viewed from Earth. Its perihelion, its closest approach to the sun, was just yesterday. So let's hit play, watch the first big gigantic coronal mass ejection. Boom, shakalaka, there we go.
Boom, shakalaka,
Another one right there.
Super Nintendo.
Another one again right there. We got a fourth one to follow up shortly after that, right there. And then things kind of cooled off a little bit. We did get some other pushes here. We see the sunspots moving like this. We'll watch this new big coronal mass ejection yesterday, and then another one today, right there. So they're not slowing down. That's the thing. The first one certainly is the biggest, lined up perfectly with that Superior conjunction. You're forecasting something like that to happen, at least at a much higher probability, and it did. But these sunspots are still extremely active, and they're still pumping out big solar storms, and they're rotating towards Earth facing. And honestly, this right here is very much what occurred back in 2003 with what's known as the Halloween storm. So we started having a lot of solar activity back around October 26th of 2003, but this is Earth facing, and then that went all the way through Halloween into November with some massive solar flares. And And well, this is looking very similar, but on the far side. But this could continue and then impact us. And that means that we could be looking at some severe to extreme geomagnetic storming and whatever those repercussions are if these sunspots don't cool off. And well, they've actually been getting bigger and multiplying. So let's check.
Beginning day 30 of the Democrat shutdown. As there are millions of Americans this morning that are bracing themselves for further pain and hardship, we'll highlight some of that this morning. The Democrats, incredibly, are showing no signs at all that they want to end their shutdown. Now, they'll have another opportunity today. Democrats in the Senate will have their 15th opportunity to do the right thing. We're concerned they won't. And if they reject this for the 15th time, they will be ensured that this shutdown continues past the November 1st deadline. That is a faithful deadline for a number of reasons. Starting on Saturday, to give you a list of things that means to American people. It means that tens of millions of American families will struggle to put food on the table because the SNAP program benefits will run dry. It means that WIC assistance, that's women, infants, and children, the nutrition programs, will be at risk of running dry. It means that Head Start centers,
but it's not the
which
Trump,
serve
it's not Trump's and the
60,000
Republicans'
children
fault. It's the
nationwide,
Democrats'
will be
fault
at
because they
risk
want to
of
fund a bunch of
closure.
goofy shit.
Millions of federal workers, and we've listed them here every day. You're talking about air traffic
Maybe the government
control,
shutdown won't be so
TSA
bad.
agents, and park rangers, and
Maybe
border
Trump
patrol
can use
agents,
some of that.
stewards of our nuclear arsenal will miss their paycheck.
Maybe
Thousands of
for that
flights
too.
by results
Making enough
will
out.
be
He's making
canceled or
enough. There's
delayed,
enough money,
while our borders and
He
national
needs to raise them tariffs and start having our country sell more shit.
dangerous moment in world history. And our country will lose tens of billions in gross domestic product. With each passing day, the pain gets more real, and the Democrats are
Why is that
guaranteeing when
government
they
even?
vote
What is the
to reject our
government
clean
hate?
funding
That's
resolution.
like
We
used
expect
by
they will do
regular
that
people.
again today for the
They're
15th
like
time.
government. I wonder if we
They
got
are showing
government
no
and like those
in
government
their
farms
actions.
won't continue
Now, just as
running.
we
Why the
clearly
fuck does
know
our
what
government
is
even own
happening,
farms?
we're counting here
Our
every
government
morning.
shouldn't own farms.
The American people can never forget.
Regular people should
We
own
also
farms.
clearly know why it's happening. And I brought a few friends. We brought some colleagues here from the state of New York and New York City to share with you about some of what's going on here. Back in March, this is very clear what happened. Let me summarize very briefly as I can. Back in March, Chuck Schumer voted for the clean CR, the same measure that's on the floor now. He did the right thing, and he went on the floor of the Senate, and he gave an impassioned speech of why we could never inflict all this pain on the American people. He meant it from his heart, and he was consistent in what he had done over his 44 years in Congress, always voting to fund the government. But when he did the right thing in March, he received an onslaught of criticism from the far left base in the Democrat Party.
If you live in an Illinois zip code and have 0 DUIs in the last 5 years, listen carefully.
Oh, it's like one right behind you. Yeah, it's fucking truck. Where you going? Oh, come on, you can't have milk yet. Wait. After you're ready, you'll get some milk. I'll be right there. Good job in a second. That's like a treat. The milk is treats. You won't look at it like that with a bottle of water. I tried it. Yummy milk. That's how I am too. I like milk too, but damn. Come, here. Let's see if they got healthier looking here for you. Here. Hold on.
Some staff in a back room, and they concocted a plan for the stunt, and they determined right then.
Like, subscribe, share, thumbs up. Oh, what's up, T-Chan? Up in USA, yes.
That he would vote against.
Oh, what's up, Costa Rica? You been?
Save his political skin. Exactly.
What's up, Costa Rica?
He did this so he could prove to his base.
Where you been at?
He's showing a fight, and as a result of this,
Call me.
He has brought the Democrats to their lowest point in decades.
Trust
Literally,
Jesus.
the Democratic Party has its lowest approval rating.
Trump in USA, yes.
Lowest approval rating.
Alright, like, subscribe, share, thumbs up. Thanks for watching. Hey, hit me up, fucking, Costa Rica.
Independents are fleeing his party, and they are coming to the party of